Breaking news! Something big could be brewing in Miami, and if you've been following the offseason drama, you know it's not just smoke, it's fire. I'm talking about a potential move that could shake up the entire Dolphins roster and possibly mark the beginning of a new era or the dismantling of a Super Bowl caliber dream. A star player up for trade, another key player possibly being included in a deal, and rumors that teams are circling like sharks. This isn't just another offseason rumor. No, this could be the biggest shakeup we've ever seen under Mike McDaniel. The decisions Chris Grier makes in the next few weeks could define this franchise for the next 5 years. Unfortunately, I don't trust this guy. What is he still doing here? Now, before I tell you exactly what's going on and which team just emerged as a surprise suitor, do me a favor and hit the like button if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan. And if you've been with this team through thick and thin for over 20 years, leave a comment right now saying, "Go Dolphins! We can never give up. Let's go." All right, here's the deal. Jaylen Ramsay is still on the trade block. Yes, you heard that right. One of the Dolphins' marquee players, an all-pro cornerback, could soon be wearing different colors. And guess who's emerging as a frontrunner? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep, they're sniffing around not just Ramsay, but also another Dolphins name, Jonnu Smith. According to reports, the Steelers have inquired about both players, and this could lead to one blockbuster trade that shakes up the Dolphins roster in a major way. Let's think about the implications here. First, the idea of trading away Ramsay isn't new. Rumors started swirling months ago that Miami might move either Tyreek Hill or Ramsay. Now, it looks like that smoke had fire behind it, and the Steelers are legitimately interested. But it gets even wilder. The idea of packaging both Jaylen Ramsay and Jonnu Smith in one deal. That's not just a player dump, that's a strategic pivot. Slick Rick Scoops, who's had a strong track record with inside information, was the first to hint that the Dolphins might trade a high-profile name. And now, as he reports the Steelers want one of either Ramsay or Jaire Alexander, it adds serious credibility to the rumors. So, what would a deal like this look like? Some insiders believe Ramsay's value has dropped to a 4th or 5th round pick. Meanwhile, Jonnu Smith's value is likely in the 5th to 6th round range. But put them together in a package deal and you could push that value into the 2nd round territory. And here's where it gets spicy. The Steelers just brought in Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year deal. They're clearly going all in for a Super Bowl shot, and adding 2 Pro Bowl level players like Ramsay and Jonnu Smith could be the edge they need. Would Pittsburgh trade a 2nd rounder, maybe pick 55 or 60, for these two? It's not that far-fetched. If they're serious about contending, that kind of move makes sense, and if I'm Miami, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat. Why hold on to Ramsay, who reportedly doesn't even want to be here? Why keep Jonnu Smith, who's holding out? You get a valuable draft pick and free up cap space to chase future pieces. Now, would a 3rd round pick still be worth it? Honestly, I'd say yes. One quality 3rd rounder is better than trying to shuffle separate 4ths and 5ths, hoping to find value. The Dolphins need starters, not lottery tickets. And this isn't just about the Steelers. Remember, the Rams and Falcons are also in the mix, and other teams are sniffing around too. Competition drives up value, and Grier, despite his flaws, needs to capitalize here. Because let's be clear, Miami can't afford another year of being close. It's now or never, and that means bold moves. Speaking of the Falcons, here's another angle to watch. If Jonnu Smith is traded, one name jumps to the top of the replacement list, Kyle Pitts. Yes, that Kyle Pitts. Miami reportedly has 2 3rd-round picks thanks to a trade back with Houston. Packaging one of those for Pitts could be a game changer. Pitts may have had a rocky few seasons after his electric rookie year, but under Mike McDaniel's offense, he could absolutely flourish. Think about it, McDaniel knows how to utilize athletic tight ends. We've seen it. Jonnu Smith thrived here after struggling elsewhere. Imagine what Pitts, with his raw talent and speed, could do in this system. You trade a 3rd for him, you extend him before the season, and you just might have locked up your tight end of the future. Now, while all this trade talk dominates the headlines, there's also action on the field. Minicamp just wrapped, and Mike McDaniel had a surprising name to praise, Cam Smith. The 3rd-year corner from South Carolina was highlighted by McDaniel as being in a great spot and doing an outstanding job this offseason. That's a big deal, considering how shaky Smith's performance has been in his young career. But here's the twist. Media members present at practices weren't exactly raving about Cam. There were barely any standout reports about his play, aside from one time he got burned by Jalen Waddle. So is McDaniel giving us coach speak to build up a player they need to succeed, or is there real progress happening behind the scenes? Regardless, the Dolphins are thin at corner. With Ramsay potentially out, Storm Duck and Cam Smith are your starters. And let's be honest, that's not a duo that inspires Super Bowl confidence. Miami must add more depth, and the names in free agency haven't changed. Asante Samuel Jr., Rasul Douglas, Stephon Gilmore, Mike Hilton, one of those guys needs to land in Miami, or we're risking a meltdown in the secondary. Even if Cam Smith steps up, even if Storm Duck surprises, this is a pass-heavy league. You need 3, even 4 solid corners. Douglas already visited, but turned down Miami's offer. Gilmore and Hilton are waiting to see who offers a starting role. Asante Samuel Jr. is recovering from surgery, but he's still a real option come July. The Dolphins must act fast, because the clock is ticking, and the margin for error is razor thin. Because here's where things start getting even more complex and potentially controversial. If the Dolphins do pull the trigger on a deal that sends both Jaylen Ramsay and Jonnu Smith to the Steelers, you're not just talking about swapping out personnel, you're reshaping the entire identity of the defense and offense. Jaylen Ramsay, despite whatever may be going on behind the scenes, is still one of the most instinctive and impactful defensive backs in the league. His versatility alone makes him valuable. He can line up on the outside, slide into the nickel, and even rotate in at safety. That kind of flexibility is incredibly rare. So yes, the trade makes sense from a strategic standpoint if Ramsay truly doesn't want to be in Miami anymore, but we can't pretend his absence won't leave a massive hole. Let's also consider what this means for the locker room. Ramsay is a vocal presence, a leader, someone who brings fire and swagger every time he steps on the field. Whether you love that energy or think it's a distraction, his teammates look to him. Trading him sends a message, not just to fans, but to every player in the building, that no one is untouchable. That kind of move can either galvanize a team or shake it to its core. Then there's Jonnu Smith. While not a superstar, he's a reliable tight end who found his groove in Mike McDaniel's system. Trading him away leaves a gap in the middle of the field, especially when you consider the lack of proven depth behind him. That's why the Kyle Pitts angle becomes so important, because without Jonnu, you're suddenly scrambling for production at tight end. Durham Smythe is solid, but he's not moving the chains the way Jonnu did. Kyle Pitts could be that next-level answer, and honestly, I think this front office knows it too. Despite Greer's many questionable decisions, if he can flip Jonnu and Ramsay for a second-round pick and then turn around and use one of the 2 third-rounders to snag Pitts, he might salvage some respect from this fan base. It's a long shot, sure, but it's the kind of aggressive retooling that contending teams have to make. But let's not ignore the risk. Pitts has struggled with injuries and inconsistency. He hasn't looked like the 4th overall pick recently. So you're betting on Mike McDaniel's scheme to unlock his potential. That's a gamble, no question. But it's a gamble I'd be willing to take. Because the upside with Pitts in Miami's system is sky high. He could be the kind of difference maker that transforms the red zone offense, opens up lanes for Tyreek and Waddle, and becomes a mismatch nightmare. Now circling back to the defense, Cam Smith is becoming more and more central to this whole puzzle. If Ramsay goes, Smith has to step up. There's no room for error. McDaniel's public praise might be more motivational than merit-based, but it signals that the coaching staff is trying to prepare fans, and probably Smith himself, for a larger role. And let's be honest, the bar is low. He was almost invisible in his rookie year, and his second season wasn't much better. But maybe, just maybe, he's starting to turn the corner. It's not uncommon for young corners to struggle early and then blossom. If that's the case here, it's coming at the perfect time. Because with Storm Duck and Cam Smith as your starters, the Dolphins are walking a tightrope. If either goes down or underperforms, we're staring at a defensive collapse. That's why free agency is still so critical. Rasul Douglas is a name that just won't go away. He visited, he got an offer, and he walked. But if the Dolphins sweeten the deal and come back with a more competitive package, maybe they get it done. Asante Samuel Jr. is intriguing but risky due to the neck surgery. Gilmore and Hilton are the safe bets, veterans who could step in and start day one.